Hi, thank you for joining us today. My name is Tisha Copeland and I own Not Your Mama's Quilt Store in Plano, Texas. We are a local quilt shop here, so if you're ever in the area, come in and see us. Thanks for joining our public Facebook group. It is for my favorite color is Moda, the sew along that Moda is doing this year. And we invite everybody to join this page for tips, hints, and little tricks to get your blocks done. So this is month 1 and we're really excited. Some people are doing it as a block of the month. Some people are doing it as a whole quilt kit. We're only going to talk about block 1 today. Block 1 is a very large piece. It's going to finish at 36 inches. You can see this one back here that I did. This is the tropical getaway colorway that we're doing. Excuse me. And so it's going to end up very large, which is going to allow you to make a baby quilt if you don't want to do the whole quilt, a table topper, a wall hanging. There's a couple of different things you can do with it if you don't want to make the whole quilt, but you're still in love with this. You can also buy the patterns individually, the books individually through us, Not Your Mama's Quilt Store in Plano, Texas, or at your local quilt shop. So if you just want to participate in 1 or 2 of the blocks, you can still buy the pattern individually. A couple of tips and hints. I want to show you how to make that first block. You're going to cut everything, as they say, at 7 inches. Follow your instructions on the book. It's going to give you cutting instructions. Because you're going to do half square triangles, you are going to maybe want to cut a little bit larger than the instructions give you, so that you can trim down to the size that you need, okay? If you already, I'm sorry, if you have already cut your fabric, then you're going to want to sew a little bit on a scant 1/4 inch. So let me show you my favorite method of doing half square triangles. When you get your half square triangles, you're going to get your blocks. In this case, it's the size that they've had us cut. This is one of the rulers that I really like. It's called Quilters Magic. It is by Studio 180. It has a laser cut line going right through the middle of it. I don't know if you can see it, how much the light's interfering. It's got a laser cut line going right through the middle of it. That laser cut line is going to get lined up from edge, corner to corner. You put the laser cut on the corners. From there, I'm going to use this marking pen. Now, I really like this one. This is by Sewline. I like it because it comes in 3 different color leads. It comes in white, pink, and gray. And I'm going to use the white with my ruler lined up right here. I'm going to take this and just mark off, oops, I'm scooched over a little bit. And you can see how nicely that shows up right there. Next thing I'm going to do is turn it around, line it up again. Now when I'm not doing camera work, I do kind of cross my arms over each other and just try to do it both ways. But for the camera, we're going to do it a little bit nicer. Okay, so you can see that I was able to do that very easily. The lead did not drag on the fabric. It went through very easily. It's a ceramic lead. The pink one is also, and the black lead is also very glide easy, smooth to work with. We have all of these things in our shop. So what you're going to do then is sew right your 2 pieces of fabric right here, and you are going to sew right where you drew out your line, marked out your line. You can see that I went over just about 3 or 4 threads where I put my stitch line. If you've already cut your fabric at the size they gave you in the pattern, sew over a little bit. You may even want to go a little bit farther right there. Okay, if you want to. I like to be able to square things up. So the next thing I'm going to do is cut these 2 pieces of fabric apart from each other. Then They don't tell you how to make half square triangles in the pattern. They just tell you to make them. So that means do whatever you like. I cut them right in half, just like that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is iron these or flatten these seams. One thing I have learned over time is that I don't like to iron, and I definitely don't like to steam my seams. The reason I don't steam seams is that every time you apply heat and steam, it is shrinking your block, okay, whatever you're working on. So what I like to use is this little roller by Clover, and this allows me to press my seam to one side or the other, just as though it was ironing it, but it's not putting any steam or iron on it, and it allows me to work a little bit faster. So I just do my seam pressing just like this. I really like this for small pieces as well, because I am not having to worry about whether my block is becoming misshapen every time I iron or steam it. So this one I ironed to, or I pressed it over to the dark purple side. I'm going to switch sides with this and do the same thing, okay? So now I have pressed my seams into place. Next thing I'm going to do is use my other very favorite tool called a block lock. The block lock is going to allow me to make a very good, excuse me, a very good and perfect half square triangle. On the block lock, you are not going to use the side that has writing on it. You're going to mark the other side as the bump. This means put this edge right here where the seam allowance is. So the seam allowance is on my pink side. That's where this block lock is going to go, how it's going to get lined up. It has a groove right down the middle, and I'm going to push this right into place against that groove, push that seam right into place against that groove. Line it up like this, and then I can trim these edges, and I'm going to scoot over just a little bit. I can trim these edges right here, makes it very easy. Take your fingers, oops, sorry, take your fingers right here, just turn it around, line it up again. And now you can see I have a perfectly cut half square triangle. Now the reason that I go one way on one side to the pink and the other side to the purple is because as I start to line everything up on my board, I want all my seams to go one way or the other. And so I make little notes on them as to which way I'm going to go, so I know which way I'm going to press. Do I ever go ahead and iron? Yes, I do. Once I start putting these blocks together, I go right through and start ironing them at that point. It's just while I'm doing my pre-work and pre-layout, am I pressing these because I don't want to distort the size of my block. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Our number is 972-612-2641. My name is Tisha Copeland in Plano, Texas. Thanks for joining us. Bye.